You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Now, right now at 7, city leaders, county officials, and tribal partners joining forces in an effort to solve the area's housing shortage.
Also, Arkansas State Police release a detailed description of a suspect wanted in a Devil's Den attack.
And we've got another hot and muggy day ahead of us with some pop-up storm chances. A look at your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. now on this Tuesday, July the 29th. August is coming up at the end of the week is when it starts. And August will be starting below normal.
Great.
Oh, man. I've used that phrase in so long. I have no idea what it even means anymore. But we will talk about that here more in just a moment. But some housing concerns in Miami.
The Miami Area Economic Development Commission issued a study to look at the housing market of the city of Miami and Ottawa County.
And as Ty Parks reports, the results are in.
The results of housing on the Miami, Oklahoma area has concluded. Shannon Duhan with the Miami Area Economic Development Service shares the purpose of the study.
How many housing units are we actually short? Not just here in Miami, but in Ottawa County as a whole. Once we knew that, we also were trying to look at what is the age of our existing housing market. We do know that we have a housing market that is really starting to come of age.
The study indicates that the city needs between 500 and 600 new homes. The study also found that the median construction year of an existing home is 1973. Many homes need rehabilitation. Also, the study looked at the number of citizens in Miami and the surrounding areas.
There's a lack of houses on the market in this area. And we have a lot of buyers looking for certain price ranges. If there's a home that's move-in ready, reasonably priced, like I say, between $120 and $130 a foot, they sell very quickly. We don't have enough homes for our buyers in the $100,000 to $200,000 price range.
The city of Miami faces many challenges, but one stand out above the rest.
It's flooding. The river, we have 2 rivers that are on both sides of Miami. The one that kind of cuts Miami in half. And every time we flood, which is a little too frequent for our liking.
Challenges have been identified, but what are the solutions?
What we're going to do now is we're going to identify those infill lots that can be developed. We're going to identify other property that may be available that's not in the floodplain, that has the potential to be a new housing development, see about acquiring some of those properties, working with developers to help them get into those properties and build homes and maybe delay some of those upfront infrastructure costs.
The infrastructure costs are laying new sewer, water, and electric.
We're all in this together. So I'm talking about this organization, the Miami Area Economic Development Service. I'm talking about the city of Miami. I'm talking about our other municipalities. I'm talking about the county. I'm talking about our tribal partners. We are all actively working to solve the housing problems that we have here in Ottawa County. And so we as collective in this case, because none of us are able to go out and just do it on our own.
In Miami, Oklahoma, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The Miami Area Economic Development plans to look at areas around Ottawa County to find land for a subdivision.
Of course, a lot of great opportunities and opportunities for new housing always needed. Our area is growing. Our area as a whole is growing. And like you were saying, affordable housing too.
It's important.
Is a difficult thing to come by in some cases. Well, it's hot. That's not too difficult to come by as 100-degree temperatures as we've seen over the last couple of weeks. But we will get some improvements, just not today. Let's take a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear. We've got some clouds well off to our north. That's from some thunderstorm activity. Again, well off to our north, not even there anymore. And we will have clear skies through the first portion of our day before we see some pop-up storm chances. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Also looking to the south, also looking at clear skies and ample sunshine. Heat advisories, again, will continue parts of Kansas, Missouri through tomorrow evening. Southeast Kansas, these here expire this evening. If the Wichita office doesn't continue them to tomorrow, it does not mean that all of a sudden it's going to be that much better in parts of southeast Kansas. It's still going to be hot, still potentially dangerously hot out there. So even if these expire, you still need to take precautions as we head into Wednesday. And of course, we've still got them down into Oklahoma and Arkansas. Our heat index values again today, tomorrow, still up to 110 degrees, where heat exhaustion is likely, heat strokes possible. Children, elderly, more susceptible to this kind of heat. Of course, those with certain medical conditions, and of course, your pets. You've got to keep them inside because it is still going to be way too hot today and tomorrow. Future track, what it's going to show us is the opportunity between about 2 and 6, 2 and 7 for an isolated pop-up storm or two. As you can see, the chance is very isolated, but at least a couple of us might get a shower or storm. Temperatures right now, 78 Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, some of us like Chanute, you were at 80 for most of the morning. You've come down 1 whole degree just in time to turn around and warm up. The majority of us, though, again, mid-upper 70s as we get this Tuesday underway. We're going to be mid-80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid to upper 90s for our highs, pop-up storm chances, west winds 5 to 10, and again, our heat index values approaching 110 again today. The dangerous heat continues tomorrow, and then tomorrow it is a stack of things that are going to happen that will make it a lot better for us heading into the weekend. We'll go over those details with you in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a convicted killer faces new charges after deputies say he attacked a neighbor in Carl Junction. Jasper County Sheriff's deputies arrested 46-year-old Dustin Fanning Sunday night after witnesses say he chased his girlfriend with a hatchet and threatened to harm everyone in a home on State Highway 96. They say when the homeowner tried to take the hatchet away, Fanning punched the man in the head and then started breaking windows. Officers found Fanning hiding in nearby woods and arrested him for assault and burglary. Fanning previously served time for killing his 78-year-old father in 2008. We have more details on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Authorities are searching for a killer after a husband and wife were found murdered while hiking with their young daughters at Devil's Den State Park. Valerie Zhang has the latest on the investigation.
Be advised, this just occurred at Devil's Den. Unit still en route. Attacked a male and a female on Devil's Den hiking trail, and then took off in a small black sports car with tape over the plate.
ASP tells us 43-year-old Clinton Brink and 41-year-old Kristen Brink just moved to Prairie Grove from another state.
And we suspect the suspect of injuries due to the witness seeing the suspect stab one of them.
To find out that, a couple people were just out there enjoying the same element that we're in, got disturbed the way they did, it's kind of a messed up situation.
In a press release Sunday afternoon, ASP released an updated description of the suspect they're searching for.
Be on the lookout for a white male suspect wearing black gloves, sunglasses, dark-colored pants.
Police say he was also wearing a long-sleeve shirt with the sleeves rolled up and a black backpack. They also believe the suspect drove a Mazda with the license plate covered in tape and may have been traveling on State Highway 170 or 220 near the park.
According to witness, direction of travel was, quote, went across a bridge leaving Devil's Den and stayed on the highway, end quote.
While the trails are closed, many other places like the visitor center and the cabins are open to the public.
You can't even roll into the park without seeing them taking care of the situation. Law enforcement's doing what they got to do.
The superintendent at the park told me he's talked to all the guests and informed them of the situation.
I got other people around. Park's hot right now. There's extra enforcement. People are, looking out for it. I got nothing to say for that dude right there. It's going to come down on him, and when it does, God's going to help him, because those people didn't deserve that. They're just out here just trying to enjoy their time.
The couple's daughters, ages 7 and 9, were not harmed and are staying with family members. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up, Charlene Patton joins us in the studio with an easy-to-make snack recipe. Plus, police search for answers after a gunman kills multiple people in a Midtown office. We'll have the latest from New York. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Time now, currently 7:09. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Leonard Park in Joplin. in Nation Watch, chaos in central Manhattan after a gunman entered a commercial office building, shooting and killing multiple people. And while officials say the threat has been neutralized, heartache remains as investigations continue. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has the latest.
Somebody said gunshots, shooter.
A desperate attempt for answers after a deadly mass shooting at a Midtown Manhattan office building Monday night.
345 Park Avenue is a commercial office building whose tenants include the NFL, Rudin Management, KPMG, and Blackstone.
Police say multiple people are dead,
including a member of the New York City Police Department, Officer Islam.
This after a male suspect exited a black BMW on Park Avenue between 51st and 52nd Street, carrying an M4 rifle as he entered the building.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is Rudin Management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds. He then proceeds down a hallway and shoots himself in the chest.
Law enforcement say the suspect is a 27-year-old with a Las Vegas address and a documented mental health history. The suspect's vehicle was searched.
Inside of that vehicle, officers found a rifle case with rounds and medication.
These pictures show the inside of an office on the 33rd floor where workers barricaded themselves with couches to avoid the shooter.
We believe this to be a lone shooter, and there is no longer an active threat to the public.
Investigations into a possible motive continue. In New York, Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Tuesday morning, starting with the future track as we have an opportunity between approximately 2 and 7, 2 and 6 in that zone for an isolated pop-up storm or two. Now, again, with pop-up storms on future track, will they be exactly where they're shown here? Maybe, maybe not, but future track is showing us that pop-up storms will be a possibility, and they will also be quite isolated. The majority of us will be dry. Then we head into Wednesday. Wednesday is a stack of changes higher than I am tall, and I'm not as nearly tall as I look right now on TV because it's the magic of television that makes me look tall. So here's what happens. We start our day, it's pretty normal. We're going to start above average. It's going to be warm. We're going to have clear skies. It's going to get hot. It's going to get muggy. It's going to be dangerously hot once again. Then we roll into the afternoon. After about 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow, here's what changes. Pop-up storms initially, fairly isolated, not much going on yet by 3. By 5, still pop-up storms, but a few more of them than what we typically see on future track. Here's what's changed since yesterday. By 5 tomorrow, we had a thunderstorm complex in the parts of Greenwood and Coffee counties that eventually, on future track, rolled from Yates Center southeasterly toward Cassville through the evening and early overnight hours on Wednesday into Thursday morning. The only change, two changes. One, the complex is going to be about an hour later. Future track now has it rolling into the same zone by about 6 tomorrow evening. The other change is instead of it taking a southeasterly course, it's going to take more of an easterly direction. It still shows up. It still expands in coverage as it rolls east, but it's going to stay a little further north initially. So 6, 7 o'clock, here comes that thunderstorm complex. So Burlington, Eureka, Yates Center, thunderstorm activity, and then it rolls to the east, starts to expand in coverage, getting into Chanute, near Fredonia, Fort Scott. Some scattered storms ahead of it, Stockton, Nevada, Butler. And then it will continue to expand in coverage and continue to push east. So by 10 o'clock tomorrow night, Stockton, Nevada, Lamar, getting into the thunderstorm activity. Scattered storms behind it, and there's a reason they're there, which we'll talk about in a moment. Joplin, Carthage, it may be close enough you could maybe see the lightning. It may not necessarily rain with this first complex that far south, but you may see it off in the distance. Now, what happens with this activity is, here's the cold front. See the wind shift line right here? As that cold front sinks in, it triggers another round of storms that will develop right along it and start pushing through. So a second round of storms for Stockton, Nevada, Lamar, but a first round of storms basically for everybody south of that point. Pittsburgh, Parsons, Coffeyville, Columbus, Baxter Springs, Miami, back toward Veneta, Newada, Bartlesville, and it will continue to push through. So here we are at 2 o'clock Thursday morning. We've got these thunderstorms out there. By about 5 a.m. or so, the bulk of this complex should be along and to the south of I-44, and as we head ahead past sunrise, it clears out. Not expecting any severe weather with that activity. Could get an isolated strong storm or two with that other batch that rolls through earlier in the evening, but not looking at anything significant at this point. If it changes, of course, we'll let you know. Isolated pop-up storms is what Future Track is suggesting for Thursday. Some of the data suggests maybe a few more scattered storms for Thursday, but still no severe weather expected. Heat index values today, tomorrow, still up to 110, and then they begin to fall away. Could still maybe warm up in our southern counties, but it will improve. Heat advisories, of course, again, continuing at least through Wednesday out there for the dangerous heat, and all of our heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. There's clouds well off to our north from some storms that are dying out way up to our north. Clear skies otherwise, low 80s to start, low 90s by 11. Our highs today, upper 90s. Same tomorrow, near 100. Cold front pushes through. Take a look at this. We drop below average into the weekend. Low mid 80s out there. Maybe some rain Thursday, Friday, but a great weekend ahead of us. Much nicer weekend. And it doesn't last very long, so enjoy the weekend because we'll start to heat up rolling into next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
This morning we have Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission here to teach us another fun, fantastic recipe in the month of July. Today we're making 1, 2, 3 snack mix.
We're going with the theme that we've had all month of getting kids in the kitchen. And I have some measuring things here, but oh my goodness, it's so good to teach kids math skills by measuring. And this would be even for the little ones.
Oh, sure.
We have a wonderful guide on our website. It's called The Thrill of Skill. And you can download it. It's from the Home Baking Association. It starts out at age 2, telling you what kids can do in the kitchen. Really helpful for mom and dads. So we start out, well, tell kids to wash their hands first.
Yes.
Want to have good safety first. But then we want to use a big bowl.
Right.
Because then that makes it easy for mom and dad for cleanup.
Certainly
and
does.
it helps kids too. So you're going to start adding things. And I was telling you, I've been at the ballpark with my grandchildren. And this is such a great snack mix to put together for kids to have when they're out doing things, going on vacation, whatever they need a snack. So rather than going to the store and buying it, you could put this all together and save some money.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll start out with some crackers that we have here. And these are just animal crackers.
Delicious.
And you can get whole wheat, These are bunny crackers that we have that add some fun. I love these. We all know the fish, and they add lots of colors. And then we have here some of the roasted edamame.
Yes.
And look for the package because it comes with wasabi too. So kids might not want that, but a soybean farmer on the tractor might like to have this for a snack. And then have that wasabi. This is roasted soy nuts.
Wonderful.
And you might find honey glazed ones too in the store with add a little more sweetness. Then we have some raisins, soy yogurt covered raisins there. And then the fruit. This is the dried apricots. But kids, you could pick whatever ones you wanted. Use some scissors and cut them into smaller pieces. And then I got this here because this is a package of dried mixed fruit. So if you want to add that in, then you're getting more than just the one kind of fruit there. Then we're going to just take this, let the kids stir it. They love to stir.
They certainly do.
So that kind of mixes it up, but look how colorful that is. Then I have these little shortbread cookies, and sometimes in the store I can find them with letters on them, and I love that have the letters of the alphabet. But take these little cookies and then just stick them in there so they have something extra. And there you have it, a nice mix. And we have it over here with the measuring things to remind people. And then, of course, the book we've been offering this month.
Absolutely, Charlene. If people want to find the book, they also want to get information on those skill sets that you mentioned for kids. Where can they do so, and where can they get this recipe?
Yes, go to our website at kansassoybeans.org. But if you'd like the book, you need to call. We're offering this month, and we'll send it to each family. So call and say, I want to have the Pod to Plate book. And that would be at 877-KS-SOYBEAN.
Wonderful, Charlene. As always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. The city of Nevada, Missouri says it'll soon begin enforcing a code for owners of pools and hot tubs. Now, if your pool, hot tub, or spa holds more than 2 feet of water, it must be fully enclosed with a fence at least 4 feet tall and include a self-closing, self-latching gate. City staff say it's a national code that many cities across the country enforce, but recent complaints from community members is encouraging Nevada to begin enforcing it. Staff cite community safety, especially for children, as the reason for the rule.
This particular rule is not meant to be something that gives the city more power or anything of that sort. It's meant to provide safety for children and adults. And people who can swim or cannot swim.
Now, city staff say they are giving residents time to comply with this code, with enforcement beginning in May of next year. Residents will need to get a fence permit from the city by October. And King Jack Park in Webb City celebrates a new 17,000 square foot recreation and community center called the W Club. The city marked the opening with a ribbon cutting from Gibson Burnett, a local Webb City girl who finished third in the nation in the hoop shoot competition. The new facility features a basketball court, pickleball, and volleyball net, not to mention a concession stand and multi-purpose rooms. One official says they hope everyone discovers the club is a place to have fun.
I want people to feel like they have a place to learn their skills and just have fun. With sports, it can get competitive, and they could shy away from a certain sport if they're in a really competitive place. But my hope is for the W Club to be an open and inclusive place where anyone can come play.
The event also featured a tour of the facility with free food and drinks from concessions, along with free tea samples from HTO. A ribbon cutting ceremony in Pittsburgh yesterday celebrated some new pickleball courts. The Four Oaks Sports Complex hosted the event for the grand opening of the brand new Johnson family pickleball courts. The courts honor Julie, JW, and Georgia Johnson and their coach, Jack Johnson, often referred to as Pittsburgh's first family of pickleball. While the Johnsons have made their mark on the world stage, they're now making history right here at home. Following the ceremony, the family played a round of pickleball with the community and signed some autographs.
They called me and said, do you mind if we change some of these pickleball or tennis courts over to pickleball? I said, no, we'd love it. And more people can play it. It's easier to learn.
We love it. Are amazing. We do love it. We're here every day.
Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's a hot and muggy day for us again out there. We've got clear skies, though. As you can see from downtown Pittsburgh, looks good. Well, it's not going to feel so good later today. MoDOT camera 20th in range line looking to the south. We've got clear skies as well. Heat advisories again, the latest of these continue through tomorrow evening out there. And even if they expire, because some of these in Kansas set to expire this evening, doesn't mean it's going to be any better tomorrow. Still dealing with heat index values up to 110, where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. Here's a look at the future track. Now, by noon, we still have the clear skies, still pretty dry, but between about 2 and 6, 2 and 7, could get an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Nothing major expected there. The majority of us will remain just dry, hot, muggy. 78 in Joplin now, 77 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, temperatures already climbing now, mid-upper 70s for most of us, with the warm spot right now as Chanute at 79. Jay looks to be the cooler spot, 74. Eventually, mid-80s by 9, low 90s by noon, mid to upper 90s for our highs. We'll have those pop-up storm chances. Again, heat index values to 110 and a west breeze at around 5 to 10. Tomorrow, still hot, still muggy, still uncomfortable. uncomfortable, still dangerous heat. But then we've got a lot of changes on the way. We've got some rain, we've got a cold front, we've got cooler temperatures, a lot of great news for tomorrow. But we have to get through the afternoon hours first. Details on all of that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge, available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. This KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, for the first time in 3 years, no part of Missouri is under a drought or abnormally dry conditions. However, as Nick Kelly reports, that brought both blessings and challenges for the rest of the growing season.
Since June of 2022, the state of Missouri has had abnormally dry conditions or some state of drought. But that quickly faded away with spring and summer soakings. For Dan Bigby at Fast Night Creek Farm, that rain came with flooding at the creek and wind damage.
Lots of trees on the creek down that are in the way. Also things like tall cannas and corn. With the excessive moisture, then you get the wind and it lays them over, and they're a loss that way. And it just is rough conditions this year.
Jason Walker has 3 different farms across Christian, Greene, and Polk counties to cover his cattle, alfalfa, hay, and other crops. While Walker's grateful to have too much rain than not enough rain, it did put a wrench into his plans.
We do a lot of planting and a lot of our first hay cutting in April and May, and those were 2 of the wettest months, the way I understand, on record. And we got our crops planted a little bit later, and we also got our hay harvested a little bit later. It was nice to, have something to harvest.
Both are fortunate to have some positives as the growing season continues. Farmer Dan is now glad the heat is helping along a sweet summer treat.
We got some wonderful, sweet, seedless red watermelons. Got some orange and yellow. Cantaloupe, watermelon, and peaches are what are really floating the boat.
As for Jason, he's pleased with how his alfalfa planting has gone so far at his Ozark farm. While he's glad for the dry time, he remains optimistic about how things could go by this fall.
We would like to see a little bit of rain going into the fall to plant our fall crops, but right now, I don't think we can complain too much. We've had pretty good moisture for the year.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. From chemotherapy to competitive sports, an Army sergeant takes on 5 events at the Warrior Games while battling cancer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 7:36. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Leonard Park. In Consumer Watch, a new study is shedding some light on possible risks associated with phones for younger kids. Jen Sullivan has advice for parents and explains that many safety features to help monitor your kids.
It's a question many parents ask. When should I get my child a smartphone?
The most important thing that parents can do is delay the age at which their child gets immersed in internet culture.
Jonathan Haidt is the author of The Anxious Generation, a book about how smartphones and social media are creating a rise in mental illness among children. And many studies support that theory. A recent study from the Journal of Human Development and Capabilities found smartphone use before age 13 was linked to a decline in mental health and well-being. The data was self-reported, and it's unknown what type of cell phones they were using. Haidt says kids between the ages of 10 to 14 are particularly vulnerable.
We must protect kids' brains in that age. That's when the maximum damage is done, especially for girls.
There is good news for parents, though. Many companies are advancing their technologies with parental controls and kid-friendly features. If you're getting your child an iPhone, Apple says it's important to create an account for them and put in their age.
That's an important step because what that does is that it then creates privacy protections that will go throughout their experience.
Julia DeOlios with Apple says parents can also manage how much time their child is on their phone with Apple's Screen Time. The Find My app allows you to track your child's location and give you alerts like when they leave school.
We also have features like communication safety, which can detect nudity in photos and videos that children either receive or attempt to send, and then it provides warnings and helpful resources.
Google Family Link offers parental features for both iPhones and Androids to monitor your kids. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And that's a look at some of our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 on this Tuesday morning. We are going to start with the future track again because between approximately 2 and 6, 2 and 7 could get an isolated pop-up storm or two out there. Again, with the pop-up storms, future track is showing us it's a possibility. It does not guarantee they will be exactly where they are. It has had that happen. We've had that happen once or twice with pop-up storms where they end up playing out exactly as future track showed. But most of the time, this is just a generalization that we could see some as we go later today. But again, into the afternoon and early evening. Wednesday, though, is going to bring a lot of changes. Not initially. At first, it's still hot. It's still muggy. It's still uncomfortable. It's still dangerously hot, really. But as we roll into the afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock, we start seeing some isolated pop-up storms like we're expecting today. Not very many. Most of us dry. By 5, still most of us dry, but a few more of these little pop-up storms out there. And we get this thunderstorm complex about 6, 7 o'clock into our northwestern counties by Eureka, stretching up toward Burlington, Yates Center, and it will roll this time on future track. It's the same complex as yesterday, but instead of moving southeast, it's going to start to move east instead. And so we could have some scattered storms ahead of it, and we could get an isolated strong storm or two. We just have an area just barely clipping our northeastern counties. If that changes, we'll let you know, but really that's about all we have is just this small sliver with maybe some gusty winds. By 8, here we are. So we're stretching now back through Lynn County into Bourbon County, west of Fort Scott, towards Chanute, Fredonia, Iola, Yates Center. This will push off to the east still. And now Nevada, Lamar, Jasper, Stockton, Butler getting in on the thunderstorm activity. It might try and reach as far south as Carthage. Joplin, you may not get the rain, but you might see the storm up to your north by about 10 o'clock. Scattered storms now starting to develop back behind it. This is the cold front. See the wind arrows changing here? This is the cold front, and it's going to trigger another round of storms, or at least that's the expectation at this point, and we really want it to hold true. Not expecting severe weather with that at this point either. Again, if it changes, we'll certainly let you know. But then these storms fire up. They push through Nevada, Stockton, Lamar, and then start dropping further south. So those of you to the south of that first complex that don't get any rain from the first round should get some showers and thunderstorms after about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night into early Thursday morning as the front sinks southward. And those thunderstorms could last into early Thursday morning before they clear out. Some disagreements on model data. Future track here showing pop-up storm chances Thursday. Some want to show a few more scattered storms. Still a lot of us dry Thursday, but just a heads up, could get some rain out there. Our heat index values today, again, up to 110, and it will be the case yet again tomorrow. That's why we have the heat advisories, the latest of which run through Wednesday evening, and the ones in Kansas here are still set to expire this evening. But remember, it will still be dangerously hot tomorrow, even if the heat advisories aren't in place. So you got to still play it safe out there at least one more day this week. All right, and of course, all of our extreme heat safety tip graphics and information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on forecast, or of course, you can check it out in the app. Clear skies out there, clouds well to our north. That's from some activity that's died out well to our north. We'll otherwise have clear skies, low 80s to start into the low 90s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, upper 90s, same tomorrow. Some of us even maybe about 100 degrees between today and tomorrow. Still very warm tonight as well. Thunderstorms continuing into Friday, but look what happens after that front sinks through. Now, some of our southern counties might still be a little warm on Thursday, but then all of us, we're dropping below normal heading into the weekend. Looks like a great weekend. Get out there and enjoy it, because as you look into next week, the summer heat set to return back to the low to mid 90s. Let's check your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
Well, the Department of Defense Warrior Games wrapped up in Colorado Springs last Friday.
Carlos Sosa met up with a sergeant who says being part of the games helps him connect with other military members who understand what he's going through.
This summer, Army Sergeant First Class David Hong is celebrating 16 years in the military. His life was turned upside down in July 2022.
It was a colonoscopy that didn't really end well. There was a blockage, and they had to do surgery the following week. After I recovered for about 2 weeks, in August, they put a port on my left side, and I started 6 months of chemotherapy.
According to the American Cancer Society, colon cancer is the third most diagnosed cancer. Hong isn't letting his illness get in the way of him competing in the Warrior Games.
It's been such an honor to be here with other athletes, soldiers, and families that goes through different challenges of their lives. And it's just the ability to connect with other people.
This is his first time taking part in the games, and he's participating in 5 adapted sports, and says the most challenging one is sitting volleyball.
You need to be very agile sitting down, and it humbles you because I feel like a lot of times, standing up sports compared to sitting down adaptive sports, it really humbles you, and it humbled me. So.
In every game, his family is right there showing support. Hong says they're the reason why he won't give up that easily.
It just feels great. It's I really could rely on my faith, my personal faith with God, and just my family.
Hong says these past few days have been all about unity.
Regardless of what branch it is, we're all fighting for one thing, and that's to be do our best and to keep on fighting.
Reporting in Colorado Springs, Carla Sosa, KRDO 13.
Very impressive story.
Yes.
And just an incredible story of recovery. And of course, that unity. It's all of that really helps all.
Yeah, I'm blown away by his strength. Amazing.
Certainly so. And our heat continues, as we've talked about. But thankfully, we're going to stop talking about it as we head toward the end of this week. Just not today or tomorrow. No. Quick look at the future track heading into this afternoon. Again, between approximately 2 and 7, 2 and 6. Could get an isolated pop-up storm or two out there. The majority of us will remain dry as we head through the afternoon and evening. Now, Wednesday, again, brings the changes. Not at the beginning, though. It's still going to be hot, still going to be sunny, still going to be miserable out there as we start Wednesday. Then by about 2, 3 o'clock, initially fairly isolated pop-up storms. Get a couple more of them going by about 5. And then by 6, 7, here comes that thunderstorm complex. And again, the biggest change is instead of it sinking southeast, it's expected now to roll east. So by 8, we're talking Fort Scott, Chanute, Yates Center, near Fredonia, and it will continue to push east, expand a bit. So by 10, it's going through Nevada, Lamar, Jasper, Stockton. And again, folks in Jasper County, you might get some of the rain. You'll very likely just be looking at this storm complex. And then the cold front, as it pushes through, more storms develop behind it and along it. And so then Stockton, Nevada, Lamar, you get another round of showers and storms. And the points south that don't get the rain from that first complex are expected to get showers, thunderstorms overnight into early Thursday morning from that complex before it rolls on out of here, leaving us with some pop-up storms and maybe a few scattered storms, though, for our Thursday. Again, heat index values today and tomorrow climbing up to 110. Big changes on the way. We'll talk about that and your wake-up recap right after this.
Well, this is your wake-up recap for July 29th. Your top stories to start your day. Convicted killer Dustin Fanning faces new charges after a violent incident in Carl Junction. Jasper County deputies arrested the 46-year-old Sunday night after he allegedly chased his girlfriend with a hatchet and threatened others on State Highway 96. Fanning reportedly punched a homeowner and broke windows before officers found him hiding in nearby woods. He's charged with assault and burglary. Well, the city of Nevada, Missouri will soon enforce a new code for pools and hot tubs. If your pool, hot tub, or spa holds over 2 feet of water, it must be enclosed with a 4-foot fence and a self-closing gate. Prompted by community complaints, the national code aims to enhance safety, especially for children. Residents must obtain a fence permit by October, with enforcement starting in May of next year. And a new study reveals Miami, Oklahoma needs 500 to 600 new homes commissioned by the Miami Area Economic Development Service. The study highlights a housing shortage. The city is currently exploring possible solutions and strategies to overcome obstacles. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
All right, again, today, hot and muggy heat advisories in place, upper 90s, heat index values to 110, and between about 2 and 6, 2 and 7, an isolated pop-up storm or 2. Skies will then clear out into the evening and overnight, still well above normal into the upper 70s. Tomorrow, near 100 for our highs, heat index values still to 110. Pop-up storms, then that cold front comes in late, bringing us more scattered storms into the overnight hours into Thursday, a few pop-up storms on Friday. But look at those temperatures heading into the weekend. We're dropping almost 10 degrees below normal. So get out there and enjoy it before it heats up again as we head into the next work week.
Absolutely. Well, a sweet moment for a good cause. Young Sebastian Green is getting a first taste at giving back. The Granby boy created his own blizzard ahead of Miracle Treat Day at Dairy Queen on 32nd Street in Joplin.
Now, Sebastian was diagnosed with autism at age 3. He has received support from the Children's Miracle Network. On July 31st, $1 from every blizzard sold will go to Freeman Health System to help kids in the 4 states. And talk about a very unique and incredible contribution, especially with the heat. I guarantee you people are going to be getting those blizzards
and that
out
blizzard
there.
looked pretty good. Sebastian did a good job.
Certainly did. Well, thank you all so much for being with us this morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.